workers who have been working out there diligently and selflessly as frontline health workers in this fight against the pandemic. Unfortunately, we have also lost 8 patients to the disease, bringing our total fatality to 607. Our sincere condolences to the family and friends and those who have lost their loved ones. And finally, as I had said earlier, today we are joined by guests. I want to extend our appreciation to the Egyptian government for the donations they are making today to the ministry towards the fight against COVID-19. The PPEs that the Egyptian government has donated will go a long way in assisting our healthcare workers to carry out their work of saving lives while at the same time protecting themselves as they go about their duty. And on behalf of the government and the Ministry of Health in particular, I want to thank the Egyptian government for this kind gesture. I thank you, and I think at this point we will take a few questions. Yes, I'm reminded. Before we get to the questions, I want to take this opportunity to ask my colleague, the CAS in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to say 1 or 2 words and then invite the Charge d'Affaires of the Egyptian Embassy to also say a few words on this occasion. Okay.
Now, my colleague, Dr. Rashid Aman, Chief Administrative Secretary, Minister of Health, Ms. Nelly El-Rabi, Chargé d'Affaires, Embassy of the Arab Republic of Egypt in Kenya, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to join you this afternoon to witness another important moment in our joint efforts to win the war against the COVID-19 pandemic. As mandated by His Excellency the President and the National Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs remains fully committed to supporting the Ministry of Health and other government agencies, as well as working closely with friendly countries and development partners in the fight against this pandemic. In this regard, I convey our sincere gratitude to the government and the brotherly people of the Arab Republic of Egypt for the kind gesture of solidarity expressed through this donation of assorted personal protective equipment, PPEs. The assorted equipment, which includes protective gown suits, face shields, protective goggles, rubber boots, and sterile gloves, among other items, will be put to good use in combating the pandemic. The donation is within the framework of the decision by the Bureau of the African Union to establish a coordinated continental strategy in combating COVID-19. Following that decision of the AU Bureau, His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, pledged to contribute medical equipment worth $4 million to assist fellow African countries combat the pandemic, and another $2 million to support the Africa Center for Disease Control, the Africa CDC. On our part, as a member of the AU Bureau, and pursuant to the pledge made by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta President of the Republic of Kenya. Kenya has donated $2 million to the AU COVID-19 Response Fund and pledged a further $1 million to support the Africa CDC. So ieleweke kwamba sisi hatupokei tu, sisi si wa kupokea tu. Tunapokea, lakini pia sisi tunachangia, tunasaidiana in the real spirit of continental and global solidarity. I applaud these efforts of African leaders and the African Union under the leadership of His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and Chair of the African Union, for demonstrating leadership and committing domestic resources to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in the spirit of African solidarity, which resonates so powerfully with the vision of African solutions to African problems. I also thank the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt for the consular support rendered to our citizens who were stranded in Egypt at the height of the pandemic in May 2020, including facilitating their repatriation to Kenya. I'm happy to note that our Ministry of Foreign Affairs also facilitated, in the spirit of reciprocity, the repatriation of hundreds of Egyptian citizens from Kenya and across East Africa back to Egypt. This is another demonstration of our African solidarity in support of our citizens in distress. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to know that while efforts to mobilizing resources from our development partners are focused on COVID-19, the imperative to deal with other existing diseases, which are equally deadly, remains. Since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus in Kenya in March 2020, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been actively engaged in the mobilization of medical supplies and other resources from development partners to the tune of over 1 billion Kenya shillings. The ministry will remain seized of this matter of resource mobilization until we find a final solution to the challenge faced by COVID-19 pandemic. Let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by reiterating that our success in the fight against the monumental COVID-19 scourge depends on our unwavering solidarity, resilience, for which our African spirit is well famed, and our commitment to all health protocols as enacted by the World Health Organization and our respective ministries of health. And in this respect, my colleagues here, let me really congratulate you and thank you, yourself and the ministry, for the fantastic work you're doing really as the spearhead in our collective national war against this scourge. And once again, Excellency, Chargé d'Affaires, please accept our profound gratitude and convey the same to the President, the government, and brotherly people of Egypt. Let us continue to collaborate in the spirit of African solidarity, in sync with Agenda African solutions to African problems, and work together in the fight against this scourge. As we say here in Africa, if you want to go fast, you walk alone. But if you want to go far, you walk with others. We want to go far together. And because it is only by working together that we shall prevail and win this war. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Shukran.
Please, welcome.
Thank you very much. CS of Health, Dr. Aman, Rashid Aman, and CES of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Namabwa. It is with great pleasure that I stand in front of you today, representing myself and the team of the Egyptian Embassy, to humbly present a gift presented by the people of Egypt to the people of Kenya in our common combat against the COVID-19, a challenge that all countries are facing right now. As it has been explained in the statement done earlier, This donation comes in the fulfillment of the pledge announced by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to support the African Union Response COVID-19 Fund to support the African countries against this pandemic. In that regard, we have presented 7,000 PPEs to be presented to the Kenyan government in order to support the medical sector in Kenya that is doing an excellent job, and we praise them for that. And this small and humble gift that we are giving you is a token of our excellent bilateral relationship that is tying Kenya and Egypt in a lot of fields, including, of course, the health one. We had the chance also to discuss with CES, Dr. Aman, about the future cooperation in the medical and health sector, and with the hope to see more initiatives coming in the future. I wish all the health and prosperity to the Kenyan people, and I thank you very much for accepting this humble gift from the Egyptian people to the people of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we will now entertain a few questions before we go and do the ceremony of receipt.
Helen Aura from NTV. Yesterday you mentioned that we're on track regarding the COVID-19 vaccine with the partnership with Oxford. However, today they announced a quote-unquote a routine pause, considering some challenges that they've faced. And considering also this is not the first time it's happened, where does this leave us as a country in regards to this research? And also, where does this leave us with the KEMRI trials as well?
Repeat that. I didn't get the essence of the question you asked.
Okay,
Please repeat it.
Right. Yesterday, you mentioned that we are still on track in regards to the Oxford vaccine, the partnership with the Oxford vaccine. However, today they announced, quote-unquote, a routine pause. And considering this is not the first time this has happened, following certain challenges that they've encountered, where does this leave us as a country? And also, where does this leave us in terms of also our KEMRI trial for the vaccine? And my second question is also regarding still treatment. We've seen also Egypt tapping into plasma treatment from patients who have recovered from COVID. Is Kenya also going to follow suit in terms of this research, getting a cure using plasma treatment? Thank you.
Okay, Helen, I still actually didn't catch that question very well, but I think I can guess you were asking about the Oxford vaccine, called the ChAdOx vaccine. And yesterday we had talked about our role as Kenya in collaborating with Oxford University in conducting an early phase trial of that vaccine. What I am aware of is that as far as the protocols for approval for us to commence this trial have all been taken. All the necessary approvals have been given, and we were ready to start this. This new information, I think, has not yet come to my notice yet, since yesterday, and I'm not aware what its implications will be. But I think we're pretty much still on track in continuing with the trial. They're doing a phase 3 trial in the UK on this vaccine. Of course, phase 3 is a very advanced trial, as you know. They intend to recruit 30,000 people in that trial. I also talked yesterday about the need for even phase 3 trials to be more encompassing in terms of geography and ethnic composition of patients who enroll for this. So I believe that there could still be an opportunity, even if the earlier trial may have to be scrapped for one reason or the other. I still believe that there is opportunity for us to state our interest to be involved in the phase 3 part of the study. And I'm sure that this will be given consideration, given that we are a partner with Oxford University through our Kemri Welcome Trust program in Kilifi. And of course, the importance of being part of the clinical trials is that you also stand a better chance than once the vaccine is available for use. We stand a better chance of being assured that we can get certain doses of those vaccines. So we will continue to pursue that angle. With respect to use of plasma, this is called convalescent plasma. It has been tried in many areas. I know that the US now, they have, the FDA has approved the use of convalescent plasma. Yesterday when, it was not yesterday, on Monday when I talked about what we are doing at our regulatory authority, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, I mentioned that some of the protocols that they have reviewed for clinical trials include convalescent plasma. So we are also approaching this as initially as a clinical trial or a research project to establish the usefulness of convalescent plasma, although there are certain questions still around convalescent plasma. We are addressing it as a research issue, and I think this will add to the body of growing knowledge on the use of convalescent plasma. Thank you. We shall now move over and